Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit Saber here, back again with Fate 01 of Season 2 now, so this is the premiere, this is the Episode 1. And as you can tell, I'm still under the weather, my voice still hasn't fully come back yet, but it's manageable. As opposed to like the last couple of days, it's been ridiculous. I haven't been able to get a syllable out without it sounding like, I don't know, going into fucking ultrasonic and like dogs around the fucking country have heard me. But anyway, yeah, so yeah, I'm still feeling a bit under the weather, but you know, it's manageable, so we're gonna get through it. So yeah, in the last episode, it was the season finale for Season 1 apparently. And considering how much I like this show, as a finale, quite disappointing. Like, it was just another episode. Like, that's what it felt like anyway. So yeah, I mean, I obviously that'll just be down to like sort of my expectation about what a finale should be. Is like something that, like, you know, there's a lot going on. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter it doesn't really matter for me now because obviously it's not airing at this point. Like, it aired years ago, so it's you know, I can literally just pick up Season 2 like pretty much immediately right off the bat, can't I? But if I had been watching this while it was airing, that would have pissed me off. That would have pissed me off so much. I mean, the one in Code Geass would have as well, but I feel like there was a lot more to digest in that the Season 1 finale of Code Geass. There's a lot more to digest in that episode as opposed to the one of the Season 1 finale of this show. It just seemed like another episode, but it doesn't really matter all that much. So yeah, they've just started the fight against Caster, so obviously Saber, Lancer and Ryder all attacking him, and I'm guessing that's where it's going to pick up from this episode. So yeah, I don't think we really need to talk about all that much. I think because it just feels like a connecting episode, like this is just picking up immediately right after the last one. We're just going to get straight into it and see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, episode 1 of Season 2. That was a premiere. A lot of stuff to talk about. I hope I didn't miss anything, because I felt like there was a lot that I wanted to touch on. But yeah, that ending, because somebody, I think it was Wicker on Patreon, asked if I would be watching that, if that would be in the full end, just watching the ending there. So I was expecting, like, what's the right terminology to use here? I was expecting there to be, I don't know, maybe something of intrigue, so I'm trying to figure out what it was. I mean, like, obviously it was around Emiya and Irisveal, right? Seemingly, like, it just seemed to show the progression of like Irie's, I guess, transformation to be artificial, because I don't think she started out that way, right? It was just something that she ended up with, and maybe, like, you know, it seemed like Emiya at one point, when he was, one of the times he was looking at her, I think it was the scene before, I'll bring it up because I don't know really how to describe it. This one, this scene here, he seems very unloving in this screenshot, where, like, he seems like he's almost looking at like it's almost like he's picking out like a doll. You know what I mean? Like he's like inspecting her like she's some kind of item as opposed to like a, you know, a person. And then it sort of changes over time. So I don't know if it's a case of he's come to love her, like after he was, you know, after he was the one that was like conceived to be, you know, the one to help the Ainsberg family, or the Ainsburn family, and over time he just grew to kind of love it, Irisveal in that way. So maybe it's like a possibility of like he actually loved Maya beforehand, but yeah, I don't know. Well, that's that. Yeah, I just thought I'd like just talk about that because someone specifically asked if I would watch the ending. So yeah. Okay. we'll go through a bunch of them. All right, so the public are aware of the monster or not? The guys in the jets were, right? They clearly saw it happen. I'm not sure if the people on the sidelines can see it though, because they clearly mentioned like that it's masked in fog. So I'm not sure if they can actually see it or not. I mean, Kirie's dad or whoever it is basically said that he needs to take care of the, like the, fuck, I can't remember the term. The like cleanup, like making sure that it stays under wraps. Like, how's he gonna do that? If people have actually seen it, how do you do that? Do you just pass them people off as crazy? I mean, you gotta think about it. Like at this point, it's gotta be like all over the fucking news and shit, right? If that many people are looking at it, you've got people out with their phones recording it and shit. So I don't know if it was like truly confirmed that the public, like the people who are on the like the sides on the bridge, could even see it, or they could just see fog. I don't know. Tokiomi up on Archer's, like I need to have a look at what that actually is, because like it's a strange thing, isn't it? Like he was talking about like his noble phantasm. Is Archer's noble phantasm's got to be using his like those sort of like portals to fire his like his possessions and stuff through, right? But persuade Archer to attack Caster and the monster without using the command spell straight off the bat, just trying his best, because he knows that Archer's like, you know, he's not willing to kind of do a lot of stuff. But I did like Tokiomi's sort of at least attempts to try and, you know, to not do it. And interesting enough, when Archer did actually attack him with like 4 weapons or whatever it was, that he says like, you made me use up 4 of my weapons. And before he specifically said, I didn't want them back anyway. I thought he meant like, oh shit, so he has basically a limited number of weapons then. But clearly he doesn't. If he says he can take them back, he just didn't want those ones because they're tainted now. But yeah. And I mean the fact that like Archer's sort of deal with Berserker, like it just seemed like fuck, what's the word? Try to think of like Archer's sort of deal with Berserker. Like, yeah, Berserker's like rubbed him the wrong way. And we know like from last episode that when he was talking to Kirie, he specifically mentioned Carrier, right? So that was something I didn't pick up on last episode, was that sort of idea that yeah, Archer does have a problem with Berserker, so it's sort of in Archer's best interest to get Kirie on board with going against Carrier. I mean the way Archer was talking about it, like that Kirie actually did have an interest in Carrier, but you know, so I don't know if that just happened to, you know, work out by convenience sake, or he's just trying to or he was just like trying to play Kirie and make Kirie think that he actually has an interest in him, when in reality he never did. Because maybe Gilgamesh is just that good with words, he was able to just make somebody like doubt their self, you know, about what they truly think. I think that's the way it is. I think Archer's just, I honestly believe that Kirie didn't actually have any interest in Carrier at all. But I think Gilgamesh is just literally that good. He has literally just turned that on. He's basically just made Kirie doubt himself. And this, you know, he's made Kirie think something than he initially did, for his own benefit, you know. So yeah, the Kraken thing has like a natural defense. I think that's to do with like its eyes. Specifically mentioned there was a lot of eyes, like literally everywhere on the thing. So I'm like I don't know if I mention it. I think I did mention it in the reaction. That. Oh no, I didn't. I didn't get to finish it. So, does the monster have its own? Like, is it separate from caster? Like, does it have its own thoughts, and is it does it have individual and original thought? Does it work by itself, or is caster specifically like control it, like a remote control? Because I'm trying to think like the sort of like the what would be the required energy behind it, being able to keep it summoned, and regenerating, and at the same time, like looking in that many directions. Like, it's got to take its toll on you, but I mean, but I don't know. Berserker, man, it fucking. I love that. I fucking love that. I love the fact that he just appeared on the fucking on the jet and then used it as his weapon, because that's his noble phantasm, right? He can literally use anything as a weapon. That's great. I wonder to what degree. Like, if he got his hands on somebody, could he control that person? I think it's specifically like he could use anything as a weapon, right? But to use like a person, would that even be possible? I don't know. But that was fucking cool. It's like, it sort of reminded me of Spider-Man Homecoming, when Spider-Man's like on top of the plane and he's like using his webs to like control like the fucking the flaps on the wings and whatnot to like to control the plane. And that's what it reminded me of. Like, he's literally I think he's got like these weird like red sort of, I don't know what the word, they were like sort of tendrils almost, which is weird considering we're talking about that when there's literally a kraken around. But he's like using that like fucking control the plane, and the fact is he can fire off the missiles and control them. So even though they're not attached to the actual jet when they've been released, he can still control them. I mean, that's nuts. I mean, I don't know if it could be considered like a in hindsight, that kind of how his power works. To what degree could he go down? Because if that was it, right, so if a missile, right, if you consider a missile to be technically a part of the jet, and then even though after it's released, it's still a part of the jet, you know what I mean? Even though it's not attached. But Berserker can still use it. So to what end could that work? You know? Like, for argument's sake, right? It's obviously a very big hypothetical. But let's just say, like, because I feel like it's easiest to explain. If you have a missile on 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 a missile, right? And every time you fire a missile, the next missile fires off as well, right? And it keeps doing that. And let's just say you have 10 missiles, right? And they were all attached to each other, but they all fired off the previous missile. Would he be able to control every single one of those missiles because it was originally a part of the original thing? You know? Like, I mean, because in that regard, then he should be able, if he gets hold of a gun, theoretically, he should be able to fire the bullet and then control the bullet, like a homing missile, essentially. Like, it's like it could. I just don't know to what extent. And for some reason, I don't think they're going to really go into detail as to what Berserker, like what's the extent of his power in regards to his noble phantasm. But I don't know, it's nuts. It's just something I wanted to bring up. As sort of like a hypothetical, because I don't think they're going to mention it in the show. So I don't know if it's something that the creators actually thought about or what. I don't know. Yeah. So we had the meeting of Tokiomi and Carrier, and it was the question, the answer to the question that I wanted from Tokiomi, right? Because we got that episode with Rin before, and it did give that sort of element of Tokiomi, which I was waiting for, which was, what is he like? Where does his family fit into his like into himself? Does he actually love his family? And in that episode, right, the way that he is with Rin is very family like. The problem that I have is that he clearly doesn't share that notion with Sakura. I don't think, judging by what like the way he was talking. He's one of those people. I'm trying to remember who. Sorry, you have to deal with me. I know it's an excuse, but being ill does mess with your head a bit. Like, you can't concentrate as much, so just bear with me. But he seems like a character. What character is it? Like Tywin Lannister, right, from Game of Thrones, where he's so obsessed with heritage. It's not entirely the same, because obviously they're like they're wanting something different, and obviously it's set in different universes. It's about, like, for Tokiomi, it's about his family reaching that goal of getting to the root, right? But he prioritizes that over the love of his family, and that's where I jump off the Tokiomi train then, because while you can sort of like respect his well, I was gonna say you kind of respect like the way his sort of like way of thinking, but I mean, to be honest, well, no, because then that just goes against everything I've just said. I don't agree with that, because first of all, right, how do you choose then? Like, it's not an excuse. Him being like, oh yeah, because if I had to choose one, then it would lead to torment of like the other child being just human mediocrity. And Carrier brought it up as well as like human mediocrity. Well, that's what you think that is it? And I basically, I don't know if I said the whole point in the reaction, but like, what's so wrong with that? Is it really better to be involved with a family, right, where you're getting fucking chewed on by insects and basically lose your fucking whatever humanity you had left anyway? You know what I mean? You've fucking tore the girl away from her family, right, to go hang out with a creepy old fucking man, like, and all because of his selfish desire for his family. That's what it is. I mean, honestly, I can't see Tokiomi being the same way with Sakura as he is with Rin right now. Like, the way that he was treating Rin in Rin's specific episode, I can't see him doing that with Sakura. Like, I think, honestly, he sees, like, I mean, he had to literally choose between the two. So the one that he chose to stay with him is clearly his favourite. And you know, conveniently enough, it's the one that looks most like him. I can't get behind it. I can't. And that's why during the reaction I was like, oh fuck it, Carrier, just nah. I'm done with him. I think if Rin heard that, she would turn on him as well. Like, that's fucked. While he was talking with Carrier, before he really cemented what he truly meant, because I think when he's talking about the root and like the heritage, and it's all about what happens like with our family, even if it takes loads of descendants, whatever the fuck, because I truly believe he actually means that. So before he even said any of that, I was like, oh, maybe it's one of those things where what he's saying isn't what he truly means. He means more than what he's actually saying. But I truly believe that what he said there was absolute truth. So I can't get on board with them then. I can't. I think you know. I don't agree with that. Like, you know what I mean? The idea of fucking tearing, like, just, you know, it's horrible. I don't like it. So as far as I'm concerned, Carrier, destroy him, please. I don't know how he's gonna do it, because I mean, Tokiomi seems like one of the most adept with magic out of all characters. So he's got like almost a similar way of thinking about the mages as Kenneth does. That mages are superior in every way to humans, and it's not like an equal thing. Which, I mean, logically you would say that they are superior, but to kind of have that mentality towards it shows your kind of dickishness in a way. You know what I mean? You know, someone that has to boast the idea that a mage is superior to a human. Yeah, I don't like it. Kirie was watching on, and before Ryunosuke died, because I wasn't expecting that to happen, I was thinking that Kirie would either take Archer or Berserker then. Because I thought he's like waiting out until one weakens. Because as you saw, he had his weapons ready until Carrier and Tokiomi like were about, like, until they basically decided they were going to fight. So I think Kirie's I think that's set up great, by the way. I think that's great. Because obviously you had this sort of animosity with Carrier towards Tokiomi. And to some extent the other way as well, Tokiomi to Carrier. I love how it's been set up with Archer having a problem with Tokiomi, but also having a problem with Berserker. So in that regard, he's basically told Kirie, oh, well, you're interested in Carrier as well. So it's basically set up a thing where Kirie, where it's like a three-way battle, and you don't know who Kirie will end. Like, if it comes down to Kirie and a finishing blow on one of them, that you don't know who would end up going for. I mean, if you had to look at both of the fucking... I think the idea is he's supposed to get Archer. Because Kirie with Berserker just doesn't seem right to me. Like, that just seems off. I mean... If you're having a look at both of the fucking servants, it's quite clear which one you'd want. Like, Berserker is... Well, I fucking love him and he's cool. He's mental and he's crazy. And clearly it has a very adverse effect on Carrier, or like the person who is summoned Berserker, right? So clearly Archer's the better option all around, and apparently Archer's like top of the servants as like in terms of like, you know, how good he is. So I mean, you'd have to, right? But then Ryunosuke died, which means Casta is a servant that is free of any master at the moment. So if I knew what the Grail like rules meant, how they work, would it mean that Casta is automatically being given to Kirie? Or does that have to be like a pact thing? I don't know. But there's three possible... I feel like there's three possible outcomes for Kirie. Either he ends up with Casta, Archer, or Berserker, I guess. Emiya, right? So Emiya took out Ryunosuke. And he basically said, like, we were right. So he basically shot a kid. He shot a kid. Oh, I don't know how old he is. I mean, he seems like a late teen kind of kid. He shot Ryunosuke hoping that was the right one. They didn't know for sure. So they could have easily just killed someone random. I mean, in the past it's been stated that like maybe the stuff that he's done has been a bit atrocious. mainly the one that I'm talking about is the plane that he took down. I don't think it confirmed whether there was actual civilians, innocent people on that plane or not. But that's the one like I think of. So I don't know if it's a case of like, oh, he's done it before where he's killed innocent people. I mean, when it came to Kenneth and when he blew up the building, he made sure that everyone was out apart from them, right? So there's an element of like, you know, he doesn't want to kill people, but I guess if it's on the line, then he kind of has to. So he just took a chance. So yeah, and then the final thing, fuck. Saber has an ability to destroy the monster, but she needs her arm, and the only way to get that is to kill Lancer, obviously, because without Lancer in the picture, her arm can heal. Emmy are basically playing that chivalry up. Or like, how long will it last if it comes to she's gonna have to save everyone, but lose her that sort of chivalry along the way. So yeah, that's gonna be nuts. Like, I don't know how that will end. In my eyes, I don't see it happening. I don't see Saber killing Lancer to save everybody. I just don't see it happening. Unless they go like, unless they actually have a chivalrous fight. But it never works in Lancer's favour, because I feel like the plan that they have with Lancer will be much better and much more plausible if Saber is there. So I feel like a battle now, whilst this whole shit's going on, a battle between Lancer and Saber would only end up benefiting Saber in the end if she was to win. Like, with Lancer, it would just be a lose-lose situation kind of thing. Because I guess it wouldn't be the fight that he wanted, but, you know, also, like, at the end of it, you're down a very strong fucking servant to help you with Caster at the end. So, but I don't see Saber, like, taking out Lancer in a you know, in an unhonourable way. So, yeah. But yeah, that was all for episode 1 of season 2. Very good episode. I like that. If I did miss anything, I apologise. There was a lot. I feel like there's a lot to take in that episode. And yeah, I mean, I feel like I can kind of concentrate a bit. I feel like I can concentrate enough to get what I need to talk about. I don't think I missed anything really in particular. So yeah, I think that's all. So yeah, I'll get on episode 2. Hopefully my voice isn't, you know, it doesn't give up. I fucking hope not, because I don't know what it's going to be like using it this much. If it'll help or not help. It probably won't help. But hopefully we'll just get through the next episode. So yeah, that is all for this episode. So thank you for watching. In the description below I have links to certain things. One is the Discord. Get yourself over there, join the community. My website, SirMonkeySuit.com, all my content is over there. Also get yourself become a member on that website and post in the reaction recommendations page on the forum. And post a show that you want me to react to, because the top 10 liked shows will be put into a poll, and that'll be the next show that I react to. Okay, so make sure you get that done. And also Patreon. So I do have a Patreon. If you do want to support me, that'll be very much appreciated. There's a bunch of different tiers and rewards depending on how much you want to support me with. So there's early access, $5 a month. Everything you get is like a week early. All the shows and whatnot. And for Fate, you get 4 episodes every week. Full length, that's $10 a month, so that gives you access to my full length library. Everything I react to gets a full length. Exclusive tier, that's $15 a month, so for that you gain access to a bonus show, which currently as of right now is Mob Psycho 100, but that will literally only be tomorrow for me. And then a new show is going to have to take its place, so it'll be a different show, so make sure you go over and check out, see what that is. And Elite tier, $50, that gives you a choice of a show that you want me to react to, and I will react to it. It'll go at the back of the list behind about 7 shows. Might take a while to get around to it. But if you want to jump the queue and go at the very front so that your show gets reacted to next, and you want to get God tier, which is $100. And that is it. So thank you for watching. I'll see you later. Bye bye.